Hey guys, welcome back to Broken Journey, the podcast. I am your host, Elba Rivera. I have been on a hiatus, guys. It's been 3 weeks since I've published a podcast. I can't believe it. The month of June was so crazy. And reality is that I've just been out of touch. And so yesterday was July 1st. And by the way, it is my birthday month. Yep, it is my birthday month. But anyway, I was sitting down, looking over my budget for the month of July. I was looking at my numbers for my business goals. And, I started to sit down and think, I'm writing down this budget and there's so many people who don't know about budgeting. Now, granted, I do have my business. I am doing this podcast, but I also still work for corporate America, right? And God willing, one day I won't have to. But in the meantime, I do work in corporate America, and I work for a company that has guests, right? And a lot of times they contact our customer service support center, and I have to issue refunds for things that they've purchased. So being in the financial field, I'm in the treasury department, so that's part of my job. And a lot of times I see the guest complaints come in, and the stuff that they say about, I've been charged, 3 or 4 times and I don't understand. And when I think about it, I'm, granted, I'm not a financial, I'm not a financial advisor, right? I am no way, shape, or form a financial advisor. However, I realize being in this industry that there is so much financial illiteracy, right? And, a lot of times we can blame it on the parents, or, that starts from home and things like that. But when you look at things, look back a little bit and you say, okay, wait a minute. Maybe their parents didn't know anything about, finances, right? And kind of going forward, whatever they thought they knew about money, they passed it on to their children, and so on and so on. So kind of like, guarda el dinero abajo del colchón. Put the money under the mattress, or put it in a candy jar, or, guarda el dinero en el closet o algo, whatever it is. I realize that, there's so many people out there who do not know a lot of finances, and the school doesn't really teach you that either. And so it's unfortunate, but, they teach you math, right? Excuse me. They teach you math, and there's some subjects in math that I'm just like, why? Why do I need algebra for my future? If I'm not going to be using that, why am I even having to take care of that? Or, to learn that, I'm sorry. Or the fact that, I have trigonometry. What the hell? What? Teach me how to write a check, right? Teach me how to budget my bank account. Teach me how to invest. You know how many people do not know how to invest? And I'm going to say that even though I've been in finance for 30 years, I didn't know how to invest, right? Because my mom didn't know how to invest. She just knew about the 401k, and that was about it. And to this day, she still doesn't know a lot of investing and things like that. So I say to myself, my goodness, simple things like budgeting your paycheck would help so much. And learning how to live below your means is another thing. Now, again, I am not perfect. I am even embarrassed to say that I have gotten myself in and out of debt 3 times. This is my 3rd time getting out of debt. And I had to kind of dig in deep and figure out why am I continuing to get myself in and out of debt? Like it's a yo-yo, like it's a game, you know? And so, I had to dig deep. I started realizing what the situation is and how to control it. So now I am vowing that this is the last time I'm going to be in debt, credit card debt, right? Because you do need, supposedly, your credit card in order for you to figure out, your credit score or whatever. You need to use your credit card. Now, you can use your credit card and then pay it off at the end of the month. But, some people like me want to keep shopping and have that problem of continuing to shop because something is on sale. Like, no, just because it's on sale doesn't mean that you need it, girlfriend. You don't need it. Put the damn thing back. You don't need it. That's me talking to myself when I see something on sale. I'm like, you came in here to purchase one thing. You're going to leave with that one thing. So if you ever see me out in the stores, just don't mind me. I'm having a full conversation with myself and letting myself know that I don't need something just because it's on sale. Anyway, going back to budgeting, a good way to get started is by writing down all your bills, right? You're going to write down your rent or your mortgage. You're going to write down what your utilities are. Some people own a house, so your utilities is your light and your water bill. Some people live in apartments and all they pay is light. And some people don't even pay light bill. It's included in the rent. It kind of all depends on what your situation is. But the main thing is that you want to be able to put down everything that you have, everything that you pay on a monthly basis, your rent, your utilities, if you own a car, your cable, or if you don't have cable, but you have internet service, your subscriptions to Netflix, Spotify, Amazon Prime, or Hulu, things like that. Your grocery bill. A lot of people don't budget their groceries. They just go out and get stuff and that's it. You got to budget your grocery. Let's say that you have, a toll pass where, like here in Florida, it's called a Sun Pass. But then there's other places where they have a different name. If you are working outside of your house, right now, because of the pandemic and all that stuff, a lot of people were working from home. Unfortunately, there were a lot of people who were laid off, right? But your lunch, what you eat on a daily basis, your breakfast, your lunch, if you take it from home, you pre-make lunch and stuff like that, or you have leftovers from the previous day, that's good. Because sometimes you can go out and you can go to a fast food place and spend $10 to $12 depending on what you're going to get, right? I went to Panera not too long ago and I was like, how the hell half a soup and a salad and a drink cost me $14? I'm like, are you serious right now? I'm like, this is crazy. No way. Anyway, Keep going forward, your lunch, your breakfast, your credit cards, if you have credit cards. I do not suggest you get more than one. But that's a whole different topic, right? You always have to be aware of that. Your car payment, if you have a car payment, any other gym membership and things like that. All those things are things that sometimes we don't pay attention to, especially the automated debit from your card, like Netflix, Hulu, and all those things. Sometimes, since it's automated, you don't pay attention too much to it, right? But we have to be aware and write down every single thing that is coming out of your account, because this is where you're going to realize where you're spending your money, right? And a lot of times we spend our money on, and I'm sorry to say this, but dumb stuff. We spend our money on dumb stuff. Like right now I was looking at my budget and I'm like, okay, I got Netflix. I have a whole list of things that I want on my playlist that I want to watch. Have I watched it? No. I'm paying for Netflix. For what? Because I have not used Netflix in about 2 months. So those are things that maybe if you want to cut back on, those are things you got to look at. When was the last time I used Netflix? When was the last time I used Hulu? And granted, I have cable, but there are a lot of people who don't have cable because they have Hulu, they have Netflix and all those other, subsidiary cable that they have. As long as they have a smart TV, that's all they need. And so, we want to start doing that. First things first. Get a budget of your expenses, right? That's number one. Number two is start looking into investing in the future, right? Nowadays, it is so much simpler to invest than it was back in the 70s and the 80s, right? A lot of the times, and I'm dating myself here, but a lot of the times, people thought that investing was only for the rich people. Well, guess what? After this pandemic, I started really paying attention and educating myself on the stock market. I wanted to learn more. I started looking and I realized, I didn't have a lot of money in my 401k. So I started saying to myself, wait a minute, how the hell am I going to retire when my 401k is looking like it's going to cry? The cochinita is bare. Cochinita is the piggy bank. It's bare. Like seriously, like my 401k, I can probably live off of that for like 3 months, maybe 4 months with all the expenses that I have currently, right? I mean, obviously down the line, my goal is not to have any credit card debt and continue to keep it that way and not worry about, car payment and things like that. I just purchased a car in November and I want to kick myself half the time for it. But I'm like, this Toyota is going to last me forever and a day until the wheels fall off, baby. It's going to last me. But anyway, a lot of people don't know about investing. And I started freaking out because I'm like, okay, I'm about 20 years to retire, right? And when I'm looking at my 401k, that's all I have. And I'm like, this is not going to do for my expenses, for how I want to live when I retire. I don't want to be retired and have to work because I need to supplement my income because my Social Security is not giving me enough money. And even depending on Social Security, You know, the way things are going right now, how can we even depend on Social Security? How do we know that that's even going to exist? Right? So we have to start building wealth on our own. We have to have a backup plan. And, I started following a variety of different people on Instagram and doing my research and looking into the stock market on how I can invest $100. Start with $100. You know that you can go to Vanguard or Fidelity and open up an account, and you can start investing with as little as $100, even $10. You can open up the account and start with $10, and you can do automatic deposits into that account so that you can start investing more money. There is even that Bitcoin or crypto. I don't know anything about it. So if you're interested in that, you might want to go and look at the financial investor, I think his name is. I'll put it in the description. But he is very good at teaching you how to invest in those kind of markets, right? Again, I'm not a financial advisor, so I don't know all the ins and out of it, but little by little, I am educating myself, and that is so important. It is so important to educate yourself, because guess what? The school is not doing it. And when you educate yourself, you want to educate your children, because you want your children, as parents, we want our children to do better than what we've done, right? And we want our children to succeed and be bigger, right? And so little by little, I'm educating myself so that I can continue to educate my children. And now my children are not young. They're young, but they're not little kids. But, they still are young. They're in their 20s. So they still have time to learn. They still have time to invest, so that when they are ready to retire, they can have enough money, enough wealth, that they are not codependent on the government. Because, honey, these government paychecks, I don't know about you guys, but yeah, it's that government Social Security looks like it's crying. It's squeezing out pennies, not dollar bills. So kind of think about those things, right? And teach your kids about financial literacy. Is so important, on how to budget their money, on how to live under their means. Because if you continue to look at social media, you start kind of, how do I say that? You kind of compare yourself to them, or you want their lifestyle, or you want to see. Guys, sometimes social media can be your worst enemy, because it makes it seem like these people have such a lavish life, or such this and such that. You never know. You never know, because you don't know them personally. You don't know what debt they're in. Yeah, they might have that fancy car, or those brand new sneakers or whatever, and blah, 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 and all this jewelry and all that stuff. You know what? Some of that is loners. They do it so that they can take pictures or whatever. What is that going to give you for the future? Right? And they're not thinking about that. These rich people, or these famous people, let me not say rich, right? Because there are rich people out there who are under the radar. And then you have those famous people who are in the radar, right? And you see them getting this car, that car. Sometimes those are rentals, and it's not even their cars, And then you see some of these people who are who are in so much debt that when you come to see, it's like, yo, what the hell is going on? Why no one taught them how to make their money grow? Right? And I know that it happens a lot of times with football players and basketball players and all that other stuff. But it also happens to regular people who want to keep up with the Joneses. Right? They want to keep up with the Joneses. No, forget about that. Keep up with yourself. Do for yourself. And know that you want to leave a legacy behind for your family. If you don't have kids, you may have nephews and nieces. Wouldn't it be great to be able to tell your niece who wants to go to law school, Mamita, don't worry. I got you. I'm going to pay for you to go to college and you're going to come out of college debt free. You know the average of going to college, how many people, like the doctors, the lawyers, and all those people who have those degrees that are like 5 and 6, 7 years, or maybe even 8 years, they have student loans up the wazoo. And it takes them forever to have to pay that off. Wouldn't you want to be able, if you are a parent, and for me, my kids are grown, so I'm kind of looking towards my grandkids, right? What can I leave? What legacy can I leave behind for my grandkids? Because as a single parent, I wasn't able to give my kids that luxury to be able to go to college and come out of college debt free. But I'm trying to work on it for my grandchildren, right? And I want to be able, first of all, I want to be able to retire at the retirement age of 67, right? And then I want to be able to live comfortably so that, yeah, I might get my Social Security check, right? But I also have another stream of income or multiple streams of income and even passive income, right? And so, guys, I just wanted to share that with you guys. I wanted to talk a little bit about budgeting. And when I'm looking and when I was studying all this stuff about finances and things like that, I started realizing that a lot of the community, of the Latino community, of the Black community, most of us are the people who are not so financially literate, right? And I'm not saying that everyone is, because there are people out there, there are Latinos out there who have had good money, who have built wealth, who have taught their children. But there's a vast majority of us who have not taught their children, right? Like my mom's parents were from Puerto Rico. When they came to New York, you know, my grandmother was a stay-at-home mom. She had, I don't remember, I think 10, 11 kids. And my grandfather was the one that worked. And then after that, when he passed away, you know, she lived off of welfare all her life. And then my mom, you know, as a single parent, now mind you, my dad was always available. My dad was always around for me, but my mom and my dad separated. So my mom struggled a little bit with finances. She got into credit card debt and she didn't know how to budget or any of that stuff. So she kind of had to learn a little bit on her, not a little bit, she had to learn on her own. Now, what she did learn is what she taught me, and nothing wrong with that, but I didn't know anything about the credit card debt, right? So I kept on getting myself into credit card debt and trying to figure out why I would get in and out, right? And finally, I found out that, what's the reason behind it. And so that's another thing. Find out what your triggers are. What triggers you to go shopping? What triggers you to do things, with your money, that just blowing it away? When, granted, we're not going to take this money with us, but if we could leave a legacy behind for our family members, whether you have children or not, if you have nieces and nephews that you love, maybe leave it to them. Leave it to them so that they can build wealth. They can build off of that, right? And I just think that is so important to be able to start teaching our kids at a young age, at a very young age. And now with the stock market and purchasing index funds, purchasing stock, granted, I am not a financial advisor, but, just go out there, start researching. There's so many people out there who are teaching you how to invest with as little as $100. So start following those people. Start listening to, they give you freebies on their Instagram accounts. Things that people pay to learn. Things that people charge about finances. Some of these people are doing it for free. People like Miss Be Helpful. She has an Instagram account. She has a YouTube account. There's also Janice Torres Rodriguez. Her podcast is Yo Quiero Dinero. She gives you information on finances. There's Girl on the Money. She teaches you about index funding. She teaches you about stock market. There's also Miss Debt Free Wannabe, or Miss Debt Free Gonna Be, I think her name is. I'll put it in the description. Guys, there are so many people out there who are teaching these things. And let me tell you something. Little by little, I have been learning so many things. I've actually opened up a Fidelity account so that I can have that extra money. I started investing. And little by little, I'm seeing my money grow. Right? And guys, just try and beat the odds. Beat the odds, because let me tell you something, man. We can't depend on the government, especially people my age right now. Oh, I only have 20 years to retire. I cannot depend on the government for my lifestyle that I want to have when I retire. Because I don't want to be 90 years old, still working. I may say that now, but they tell me that when you retire, you get bored. But I don't know about that. I want to be, after I retire, I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to get up and say, you know what? Today I'm going to go here. And I'm just going to enjoy myself. Or I'm going to go to the beach and hang out for the day because I don't have to work. Or I want to be able to say, you know what, guys? To my children, I'm going to take the kids on a vacation. And that's it. And give them a break. I don't know if they'll let me take them, but I still will tell them. Or I want to be able to say, guys, schedule this time. And this is my family, right? I want to be able to tell my children, schedule these days, because I'm doing an all-paid vacation for all of us to have a family vacation. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice to be able to pay for your children and them not have to pay for anything? Just come and enjoy the ride. Guys, That is one of my dreams, to be able to pay for an all expense paid vacation, including the airfare, if we're going somewhere, the airfare, the hotel, everything, the food, everything. And my kids just enjoy it. That's one of my goals. That's one of my dreams. And I'm looking forward to doing that one time when I retire. Or maybe before. We'll see. We'll see how the stars align up for me. But in the meantime, guys, like I said, educate yourself. And once you get educated, educate your children. Educate your children. Guys, you can open up an account for your children. It's like a 401k, but it's not. I can't remember the exact name. But anyway, you can open up an account for your children and start putting in $10, $20 and watch it grow so that when they're ready to retire, they can retire. They don't have to retire at 67. They can retire at 36. They can retire at 45. And that money has grown. Let's say, like my grandson, he's 2. From here to the time he retires, that money will be golden, right? And so those are kind of things that I wanted to talk about today. Just because I was doing my budget, I was doing my monthly goals, I was writing down numbers of what I want to accomplish and things like that. And granted, it's going to be a busy July for me. It's going to be a real busy July. But you know what? I am so grateful that I am able to do it. I am so grateful that I am able to work and put numbers together and accomplish those goals. So anyway, guys, again, thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to budget your money, live under your means, learn financial literacy, and teach your children. Those are weapons for life that, trust me, will be golden. They will be golden. It's like having a golden nugget that's worth millions and millions of dollars. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. I hope that this has helped you, or, it's gonna help you for the future. It's gonna help you with everything for you and your family. Even if you don't have family yet, right? It's gonna help. Once you start learning financial literacy, it'll help so much. And one last thing, if you don't know how to budget, Google search budgeting tools. You can get an app. You can do a spreadsheet. You can write it down on paper. So when I started my budgeting, first thing I started to do was write a list of all my bills. After I wrote a list of all my bills, I checked to see when those bills were due. And then I started writing them down right next to each bill. How much is the bill? Now, granted, your light bill, your water bill, and your certain other bills they fluctuate, but put an estimate more or less of how much it's going to be, right? And then what you do is you separate them by pay period. So if you get paid on a weekly basis, then you budget versus on a weekly basis. When you can pay on your first check, what you could pay on your second check, what you could pay on your third and your fourth, right? The same thing for bi-weekly. If you get paid bi-weekly, you will put the first half, what is due between the 1st and let's say the 10th. And then you will put what's due between the 10th and the 30th. or however it is you get paid on a bi-weekly basis. Because sometimes bi-weekly can also be bi-monthly, right? Depending on how the company works. And so those are ways to figure out how to budget your bills, and then type it up on a spreadsheet. It's that simple. You put description of the bills, the due date, and the amount or estimated amount, and then have it calculated all at the bottom. And that'll tell you how much your bills are on a monthly basis. And then whatever extra money you have, either invest it or save for 3 to 6 months of emergency funds, and then continue thereon. Start chomping down on your credit card debt if you have credit card debt, and start saving as much as you can and invest as much as you can. Okay, guys. So we're going to end it now with a final recap, right? Number 1, create a budget with all your expenses. Number 2, if you have credit card debt, create a plan to pay them off. Stop using them. And I suggest you pay off the smallest to the largest. Or if the balances are all high, pay the highest interest one first. Number 3, educate yourself on financial literacy. And once you have it down packed, start teaching your children. If you have children, if you want to have children, or if you don't want to have children, start teaching your siblings, start teaching your nephews, nieces, anybody that you can teach them. Number 4, and final, do your research and follow people who are educating you on finances. Guys, IG has a lot of people out there teaching you these things, and they are giving you nuggets for free. So follow them. I hope this helped, guys. Have a good day.